Perth preview for the Gary Harley Stakes Day. There's a lot of short price favourites. Can't really do too much about that. But one thing you can do is get Toby's information because he assesses his prices at about 90%. So if Toby's found some overlays with a few of these shorties, I'd be pretty happy to step in. So Toby, we're at a 7 metre rail and some potentially interesting track conditions ahead of us.
Yeah, 7 meter rail. So thinking that the lanes will play pretty even. Track's definitely been one of the fairer ones in Australia, based on what I'm told. I've thought it's just quite fair in general, but apparently all over Australia is having issues with biases at the moment. So I'd say ours is one of the fairer tracks, especially for city tracks. This week probably lean towards on speed because there's 25-kilometre easterlies forecast. They were earlier in the week supposed to drop off, but now it looks like they'll hang around most of the day. So definitely looking to play a bit more heavily on speed. Haven't had too many really strong easterly days this season, so be interesting.
And is there potential rain tomorrow?
The rain was supposed to come more today and last night, but it hasn't really eventuated.
Okay.
At
There's
least
there's a
not
little
on.
bit of there's a little bit of precipitation in the Perth metro area as we
Yeah,
speak,
there's
but
some
it's
Pretty
not.
moisture
wordscape.
within the air.
But
It's
there's
just it's really just sprinkling. Like
yeah,
there's been a couple
yeah,
of very light showers, at least in Mandurah. Like I went out this morning, there was a light shower, so um, definitely not the rain that it sort of looked like potentially being earlier in the week.
It's good news. Kev, what do you
and
think of the
I don't
car?
think don't think we're forecast to get much Saturday, are we anymore?
No,
That's completely
No,
flipped.
it's zero,
doesn't
zero to
hit within
four.
the next couple of hours. I don't think we're going to get much more than probably a mil.
Yeah, no, it looks actually quite exciting on Saturday. It's been a while since we've had a meeting where you're getting that strong easterlies for pretty much majority of the day. Obviously, when you get to your feature races, both being staying races, it's
Yep.
probably not as influential, I'd say. I think track bias over staying trips
We have a
are a bit of
1600
a
meter feature race as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Said with
Anyway,
tongue in cheek.
Let's
we
bet
also got a
on.
feature race over 1200 in race six.
Well, yeah.
Uh, Race one over the 1200. Jazz Session $2.20, Sky Duke 3.90, Fortune's Luck $8, Cryptic Joy and My Lovely Pet both $10. Longer the rest. Looks Sky Duke's lead. Jazz Session and potentially Star Power going forward as well, Toby.
Yeah. Thought depending on how she jumps, she can jump quite well. Star Power. I thought she would more than likely cross Fortune's Luck, sit on Sky Duke, and then depending on what approach Sean O'Donnell wishes to take, either he sits OSL or potentially 1-1 on the back of Blitz and Babe. Also would depend on what Blitz and Babe wants to do. And then the rest look to just file back. Um, Sky Duke, Jazz Session met along with Classic Ruler and My Lovely Pet in behind them, but I thought the main two coming out of that into this with the maps were, and up to 1200 were Sky Duke and Jazz Session. Jazz Session hasn't gotten out past 1,000 very often in her career thus far, but she does have a placing over 1,200 behind Taropa, so that's pretty good form, I would have thought, if you want to read it like that. To say that she will do it, just think Sky Duke gets a little weight swing and potentially gets those easterlies to really help, and a map advantage. He had to sit in ISL last start. I think he's much better suited to getting things his own way out in front, like when he won first up, just able to be pretty kind to him and just nurse him along and try and pinch a break at the top of the straight and hold it. He may get the opportunity to do that here with the Easterlies. So I think that brings them a bit closer together than what I had them last start, but at the moment, not a great deal of value.
Yeah, I'd say Jazz Session's probably pretty hard to beat. You did reference, yeah, it's only had one go at the 12, but it was on a track speed 7.8. That's genuinely heavy, and this
Yeah,
horse seems to like much firmer. So if it's going to run the 12, it's certainly got the right setup here, fourth up to do it. What do you think, Kev?
yeah. Look, the thing I'll touch on with the 1200-meter placing, like you mentioned, Aaron, it was on a heavy deck. So for me, it's one of those races where you either treat it as, all right, she can do it over 12, which was like Toby said, behind Taropa, smart enough horse in its own right, but were the horses in behind it handling the track as well. Um, one of those types of one of those types of fields. So for me, I'm with Sky Duke actually on top. Everything that Toby's touched on, 1200 probably better suits, gets that little bit of a kilo and a half weight swing. And I think the narrative is written for Luke Campbell to outright his claim for his boss.
He's only one away, isn't he?
Yeah,
And even better for him to do it at the start of the day because then you get to
exactly.
take advantage of, you get to keep your claim for the rest of the day. So,
Yeah. The other one I was looking at was actually Cryptic Joy. Has that got out yet?
uh,
From
yeah,
last
Last
start?
Tab Touch.
I think you meant
No,
from last
Oh,
start.
in Trip.
yeah, from last
Sorry, I
I was
start.
trying to
thought you meant
remember.
Drift. It's had two
Um,
goes at the Trip.
I think you can
Most
forgive.
recent time it missed the start of length and then laid in. So
Yeah. So
sorry,
I
Kev. I
think
thought you were
you can
talking about the
forgive.
odds there.
No, you're right. So yeah, I think you can forgive its last start. Yeah, it's got a bit of an SP anchor of evens. But yeah, I think if they pour it on early, I wouldn't be surprised if Cryptic Joy is there fighting it out in the finish. Might not be good enough to get past these two, but yeah, something for exotic hunters.
Race two for the 2-year-olds over 1200. Snitzelade for Pike, debut winner, who did a fair bit wrong, not only in the run, but apparently going out to the gates there, Toby. Statewide, first up $7. Kawara, which was interesting debut, $7. Hassini first start at $8. Hard Solo, 850. Wayfinder 11, which is another debutant, longer than the rest, but a lot of debutants in this race, Toby.
Yeah, not a lot looked to have a whole heap of early speed. Thought Snitzer Latte, thought she jumped better. Second up, Pike having another ride on her. It looked like she jumped pretty well in her trial. Not that it's easy to tell down the straight. But yeah, thought for the race experience she'd be able to jump that little bit better. Thought she would still get crossed by something. Just depends how quickly the different ones come across from out wide. I thought Spicy Thing was the
Yeah.
most likely leader. Um, Hard Solo can be close, and it'll just be a bit of a mess. It just depends who wants to try their arm from out wide. I thought Kawara might roll forward.
Have you got a
But
rider for Quora?
Not yet.
nah,
Yeah.
all those horses that were Chris,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
they've only just been shifted to no rider on the Rawa site. So there's a couple that I've got theories on who will ride them. This wasn't one of them. Hadn't had a good look yet. But depending on where Neville's got her off the, she's 56 or 42 days between runs. Can't remember which.
42.
Wouldn't be shocked if she went forward and just tried to be OSL and get a bit fitter, or whether they just go back and hit the line and look for try something different with her after riding her a bit closer last start. Thought Snitzer Latte made sense as favourite. Beat Pygmalion, who ran a decent second on Wednesday to a smart enough looking horse in Elite Bow. Looked pretty good doing it, pricked her ears when she hit the front. Had that short, sharp turn of foot and matched to be close enough again. Think she's better suited out to 1200 by Snitzel. Yeah, I want to see her in the yard, see if she's taken some improvement, both in manners and fitness. As with most two-year-old races, I think the yard's pretty key. Spicy Zane, probably potentially some value if she can lead on a day with the Easterlies. And then just play around the back markers, or who I think will be back markers anyway. Happy to just wait and see for now.
Kev, it does look a Gary Harley day. I think this favourite's hard to beat as well, around the
Yeah,
$3 mark. Of what's been exposed, this is clearly done the most. Doing a lot of things wrong there too in the run and put up a really nice figure. But Kawara was such a head scratcher, wasn't it?
it was. It was. It was. Yeah, it was interesting. Like, what do we do with it now? And it's not like it's drawn favorably to really get any confidence. But the one I wanted to touch on was statewide. What do you think of its trial, Toby?
The 400 meter trial just didn't look to keep up that well. I think he might just 1200 still might be on the shorter side for him, I think, at this stage, based on what I've seen.
Yep.
But thought his most recent trial was pretty good. Slow
Yep.
time, but held up in behind them, got wider, no shades that go on for race day.
Yeah.
I do like him as a type, but I didn't quite think this was his race. Been looking for him potentially in a size, maybe. That's sort of the first 1400, but for the 2-year-olds, yeah, just waiting and seeing with him.
Yeah, because I thought his debut was actually quite good.
I thought he was better than Strideaway. So
yeah, so I remember I think I mentioned him, and I think I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, we definitely mentioned him and said we'd probably be looking forward to him over a bit further. So yeah, I absolutely agree with those points. I think Snitzolade picks itself. Just a big watch on both of those Neville horses from the yard for me.
yeah, Kawara I thought would be better off. Just might not be a 2-year-old tipper out, let her grow into herself. But
Yeah.
I am not one
Typical,
big, strong
typical,
horse, isn't it?
typical playing god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see her turning into a really nice horse as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So on that one, race 3, the Old Conrad Stakes over 1600. Watch Me Rock, $2. Fluoro Nero 330. Memory Parade yet to have a rider come through there, $5. Without Reg 9. Iowa, which looks your leader first up, 11, and that is the field. Iowa probably first up should lead this, Toby.
I would have thought so. Just depends on whether Fluoro Euro tries to kick up so that they don't get pocketed.
Yeah.
Might even just kick up long enough so that they can let Iowa go to the front and pop off and sit OSL like they have done a couple of starts. Just depends. Small field can get tactical. Thought without Reg, Memory Parade, Memory Parade doesn't jump, so I thought they'd both grab Holden. Thought Watch Me Rock would also just be content to be more than likely. Oh, no, maybe not 1-1 now that Zephyr's out. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be a tactical race. Thought that Watch Me Rock was your most likely winner. Not that it's saying a heap. Fleur and Euro gets the weight swing, but Watch Me Rock had to duck and dive last start. Thought it was a good effort to still get up. Yeah, not a lot to say about this race, to be honest.
Yeah, I find it hard to see how they turn the tables on him.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, geez, Pike made those taking the 250 work for it.
Oh
My goodness.
God,
I don't see.
You didn't want it over again, did you?
Not
Never.
particularly if you were on it.
I can't see him doing that this time. I think he'll probably he'll be happy to just sit outside.
He's sat OSL in races before and gone good. They haven't really done it since the shades have gone on.
Yeah.
But I don't see why he wouldn't be able to.
No. Yeah, I like Toby says.
Run race.
I think I mean, if you're happy to take the black odds, it's probably fair enough. But
yeah, I was a little surprised based on the way he's been back his last two that he wasn't odds on, but it's like started at $1.90 in that Bunbury Stakes. And
yeah, it's strange.
For betting last start, but to each their own.
Yeah.
Moving right along, race 4 over the 1400, 66 plus, playing games, Pike 290, Our Rocky Bay, Noski 310, Western Power. It's going to be a bit of the theme of the day. No rider come through yet. 480, Angel Undercover $5, double figures the rest. And Our Rocky Bay should be a leader here, Toby, and maybe some speed coming across from wide gates.
Yeah,
No.
I didn't know who would, but I thought someone out wide would. This race, just having a look at it now, I would suspect that Clint Johnson Porter will end up on Western Power, just Michael Grantham. I know he goes out there and rides track work, so that would be my suspicion that Clint will end up on that.
Yeah.
Thought Our Rocky Bay would lead. Horses I thought could end up OSL include, but are not limited to, Supportive, Sir Duskin, or War Gem.
Yeah.
Just depends on, I think War Gem, based on the way it went first up OSL and what I'm told Neville Parnham said, I imagine they'll just grab hold. So I'd say it'd be more likely just Sir Duskin or Supportive. Either way, thought Our Rocky Bay would get a bit of a picnic backing up back to 1400. Got taken on a bit last week, had to pop off to OSL, fought on well to the finish. Thought he made sense to be favourite, which he is not, but yeah, it's 125% market, so that can easily change by race time. So thought he was your most likely winner. Playing games held up last week. Just not sure if she would be able to get over the top of him too easily without a heap of pressure in the race. Angel Undercover didn't like the apprentice going on. Um, Western Power was a really, really, really good trial.
Really good
Um,
trial. I'm
an
glad you touched
incredibly
on it.
good trial.
Yep.
Just barrier one. If he's behind our Rocky Bay with our Rocky Bay getting a picnic, wasn't sure that he would get over him, but yeah, he could improve in his third
Yeah.
prep of racing and second prep for Michael Grantham. Beat Royal
How
Tornado at
how
Belmont last prep.
yeah. How good was he
Okay.
past the post?
That's what I mean. He just like he barely moved on him, and then he started to get a bit active with probably 70 to go, and he looked like he really wanted to go, and then burst past him after the post.
Well, this is
Yeah.
your sweet spot, Kev. We've got a horse, Western Power, coming off its
Yeah.
two best career ratings in its last two starts when it left us. Now in its third preparation, first up off a good trial.
Yeah. I'm
A
I'm
bit
really
tricky when you don't know the rider, but are you with it?
yeah, I actually am. It is definitely I mean, yeah, like you said, it's really hard to say
Well,
with
Toby's
any
confident, but
extreme confidence without knowing who's on. But
yeah.
and
Also,
then
I'm not 100% sure it'd be a great horse
You,
to sit leaders back with, which is where I think it'll be.
yeah, I mean, and it's CJP stuck on the fence, leaders back. We've seen that movie before.
Mm.
many times on repeat.
Um, but look, I think he looks like he's going really well. You're getting enough to sort of find out as well.
Yeah.
I I think 1400s are probably a good starting point for him. And then yeah, off to a mile, and I imagine they're probably going to try and stretch him out. So I think yeah, at about $5, I think you can get, and I think you'll get a good enough run for your money. The two favourites racing really well, so you can't really knock them. But for me, yeah, at a price point of view and from what I've seen at the trial, I think Western Power's come back really, really well. He's a fool to West Empire, so you'd expect him to improve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Strong family that.
yeah.
Race five, Mel Vista Stakes over the 2200 sale session, which I imagine will be in a few multis. This one,
You
dollar fifty.
mind if I just mute myself for this race?
You
Go
may
on.
not.
Can we mute Toby as well? $1.55. Play fair, no rider. $4.60. Superfluous for Pike. $6.50. And then we'd get double figures, and I don't think there's much point even mentioning anything else there. Please, Midstar looks to show out from the inside gate. Max Verstappen, that's an interesting name. Well done there. Looks to come across OSL. Where does the favourite get to on the map here, Toby?
I think it just depends. I think if this was the Derby, I think they would press forward and try and arrest the breeze from Max Verstappen. Being the Mel Vista and 2 weeks away from a Derby, I suspect they'll just go back to last
Wow.
because there's no reason to burn him up to try and win a $100,000 race when there's a $400,000 race in a fortnight. In saying that, it's not like they won't try. They just won't try as hard as they possibly can, which is fair enough. But you have to be able to understand that there are owners paying bills that want to win prize money in a fortnight.
They're
Also,
not. They're not going to do it.
122, Toby. It all counts.
They're not going to do
122,000.
a Boga legend on this, are they?
Oh,
I
Sorry,
don't
I
think
had
that.
to.
I don't think Chris will angle underneath heels again. So just to one
stick
Aaron
the
up a
knife
bit.
in.
No, like if you're
No,
if you're
no
serious
comment.
about
Don't. I
you're
can't
serious
talk
about
about
your
that on this. Yeah.
if you're serious about your punting, I personally think you should be pretty confident that they'll go back to last and bet according to that
So
because
a
you
drift,
should
you think?
um I don't think even if it's leaders, I don't like staying races. It's less prominent, so I don't
Staying
think he'll be.
races momentum is the absolute most crucial.
Yeah,
Staying in profile sort of stage
I
of
think he's
preparation
under
is
a dollar
key.
fifty. I think a dollar fifty is wildly short, considering I think he'll be last.
Okay.
Um, Play fair, I probably 50-50 whether it goes to Brad Parnham or back to Lactar because it's been Lactar's ride, but they obviously wanted to try something different. He may be suspended even because I did find it surprising that gave the right away. So if he is suspended and I'm not very smart and don't know that, then I'd say it'll definitely be Brad Parnham. Thought he had to be a pretty decent chance of turning the tables. Just thought his run in the JC Roberts was really good. Slow tempo, held up when he got out. He ran a really slick 200, which doesn't feel like it'll be his go. He looks incredibly dour. So out to the staying trip finally, and probably draws to sit in front of the favourite. I thought if they made their runs together, he had to be a decent chance of at least giving the favourite something to catch when they both make their runs. Thought they were your two most likely winners. Superfluous gets shades on and keeps Pike, but just hasn't shown me enough to say that he'll go with the other two. And the rest, really, to me, didn't look up to it. Sainty Callity looks like a rushed crap. But his horse, I think, has some ability. And the rest just look like they're stayers trying to pinch something.
I'll certainly be interested to look at your prices. I mean, I know it's $1.55. You know, I'm saying he's tipping a fucking $1.55, but I can't see how it gets beat. We just have to deal with what's in front of us. Be very interested to see what you've marked it.
Playfair gets a little weight swing. I thought Salsa, she got the absolute. I know he was three wide, no cover, but they went so
yeah. So
went
that's
so slow. I just don't care.
But where's the DF to beat it?
Where's the what? Sorry.
Where's the different form to beat it?
Well, there's. I think Playfair. I would make a case that Playfair was a better run, all things considered, in that JC Roberts.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that Playfair is going to gain more getting to 2200 than Sale Session. Not to say that Sale Session won't stay, but I think Playfair's that much dowerer that he needs it. And
that's a completely fair point because Sale Session hasn't been there and done it, whereas Playfair has. So that's a perfectly valid point. I think that's already been factored into the price, to be honest. But it's a logical approach. Kev, what are we doing?
Next. Thank you.
But you don't even want to.
No.
Oh, okay. Let's give me the warning there. Race 6, first leg of the quaddy. That always gets us excited over 1200.
This will get Kev up.
West Star, who Pike riding this potentially.
Has he been named?
He hasn't been named, but it just seems a logical option.
I'm like 90% sure Pike will end up on this. If Dale Verhagen wasn't on the phone within half an hour of finding out that, like, you want to find out that Chris is all right, not to sour anything that way, but I would have thought you'd be pretty quick on the phone once you think Chris is a sniff of being unavailable.
And I'm telling you, if you think Pike is on at a 90% chance, I'm telling everyone listening now to back it now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Back it now before you get Pike.
If you're going to back it now before Pike gets named.
Yeah.
Hopefully the show goes out in time. So West Star is currently $2 at Tab Touch. Probably
a great example is, like you said yesterday, Redback Flyer was Chris Parnham. It was into $1.80. Holly Watson goes on and it starts $2.10.
Yeah. Which is a bigger difference than it sort of sounds. Cessation for Campbell, $5. Petula, $5.50. Brave Spirit, $8. Norwich, $11. Along with the other few. Map. I mean, Norwich, you'd assume he always goes out and finds a front.
Cessation's pretty quick. It just depends how much pressure Norwich wants to apply. You've got a different rider in Braden who's.
But one of those will be a leader. Street Parade comes across. So where does West Star get?
Leaders back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Camps on them, shits in.
Well, hang on. What if Norwich leads?
What about if Norwich leads?
He'll still be leaders back. Cessation will be.
Cessation may take the trail and not pop off to the breeze straight away, but if Cessation doesn't pop off straight away, that means that they'll be running. So even if they're running and they could end up.
So you're confident behind leads?
They could end up just about Indian file, really.
Yeah, I think at this point we know that Norwich and the tactics that they want to try and replicate is what it did earlier in the summer, where it's just handlebars down. Just go for it.
What it's called, say yeehaw.
I think even if West Star ends up three back the fence. I think he won't have anything outside him, and he'll get
It
a
it
run. It's
it
not like
won't. Yeah, it won't be a true three back defense where you're
it'll be
buried.
an open sit three back the
Yeah,
fence.
So
yeah.
a fast run 1200 first up for
Well,
West Star.
not necessarily, because again, like I was trying to say when all three of us were speaking at the same time, it's Braden going on Norwich, and I know that they'll tell him to go quick, but he's just not an aggressive rider at all. There was a ride on Wednesday that I can't think of. He ended up three back defence on Brazen Bid, and it's just like that's just really bad tactical riding. He's so passive early, which is such a bad trait for apprentices, in my opinion. But you would think they'd tell him to be really aggressive here because that's how they think he has to be ridden. So either way, I think West Star gets the right run to beat them because
Yeah.
he is a nice horse.
Question. Actually, not a question. Statement. West Star
Kev put the
wins.
hand up to speak there as well.
All right. So
Toby's put us on
wins.
notice here.
West Star wins. Child Super beat a horse that we love a lot in September Born last prep. Everything is
September Born beat him last prep in the trial. Oh no, that's right. He beat him. You're talking about beating him on race day in the Belgrave.
Yes.
Belgrave, yeah.
Yes. My question is, what do we do with Petula after last start?
She can get in the bin. She was a year between runs. Tongue tie went on, and I've had enough. It's only been one start, but she was too bad. I've seen enough.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm happy to sack her off one run.
I'm not happy to sack her yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see an improved run here.
I wouldn't be shocked by that either, but I'm happy to take her off. I'm happy to
leave her out of the club.
price her along to get West Star shorter. Oh, West Star's one out. No?
Okay. Yep. Okay.
West Star's one out, but I agree with you, Kev. People kick him out of bed way too quick. They just get so burned that the horse is lost when I've had some decent cash on it, and they just kick it out.
No,
they're not robots. Like
I think there was a reason she went bad, and the reason that she went bad would mean that she wouldn't go good.
Maybe she's not back. Yeah. But
tongue tie goes on.
One run is not a data point. We need a couple.
I'm not happy to sack her. I'm just expecting her to run better.
I'm happy to make her along within this race, and I want to see improvement before if I see improvement, I'll price her more within the market next start, and if I don't, I'm happy to sack her after this.
Yeah, that's fair. West Star, the only concern I have is, the trial was fantastic, so you can really
really. The problem is that, like with the throat up, is they can trial like that, and then under race pressure, not go as good.
Yeah, that's
minor concern.
That's the little grey cloud over my head at the moment. That's all.
That's what I was trying to get at with the map and the speed, but
we all spoke at the same time.
Yeah,
fast speed suits throat off horses. They don't have a chance.
I blame the host.
Me too.
So one out, West Star.
One out, number 3.
Beautiful. Race 7 over the 1200. Objectify. Brad Parnham $3.10. Princess in Red for Noski $3.90. Sereno for Lucy $5.50. Rapid Rock and Nobility both $8.50. Barney's well, which has got no riders, $12, but not much point going much further than that. And the map is loading, so you can take
they won't go slow. Nobility likes to roll along. Rapid Rock will want to be right there, probably end up OSL. Princess in Red doesn't jump, but potentially with Objectify not probably wanting to go to the fence because they like her. And when you try and WA means you don't go to the fence at all costs unless you're leading, which is silly, but that's all right. They probably won't want to use her either, so I wouldn't be shocked if she ended up 1 out, 2 back. Just depends what playing around in Barney's World want to do. Or even Sereno, if they want to chance their arm at finding a hole. But with Lucy on, I would say that probably won't happen because that's not how she rides. See Miss Wall Street yesterday. Wouldn't have won, but that is as bad of riding tactically as one will ever see, to drop through back the fence behind Golden Door, who's going to sit. She probably wouldn't know that, so that's all right. And then the rest, I think, just go back. Objectify is a really nice filly, or mare now. Didn't come up in the summer. Just I spoke to the stable during the week and just said that she just didn't come up as well as they'd hoped. And they like her, so they tipped her back out. She's back here now. She trialled good, trialled probably similarly to Western Power, but under a little bit more pressure. But that was for the unraced apprentice. So happy to not read as much into that in terms of how much she was tested as you could otherwise.
Do we think she's a better horse with her toe in the ground?
I don't know. Haven't seen enough of her on top of the ground yet to make that decision.
That's probably
Yeah.
fair.
I think she's a really nice mare. I've always been a big fan of hers. Look, she's favourite, so there's no massive spoil in the price. I'd want to see her in the yard if I was going to launch her or anything. But I think she's your most likely winner because I think she gets a pretty decent setup here. Like I say, one out, one back, or one out, two back, just depending on how fast they go early and who comes out looking for spots. Playing around, I've just seen had a virus last start, so that's why he went so bad. Nobility has to be a chance of pinching it, leading. She's going good enough. And Chirino, just don't think he gets set up to be. Okay, he can win, but yeah, just don't think he's getting the right setup with the big weight.
Well, see, I looked at it differently. He's a 3-year-old classic winner over Westar, finding himself back into a 60 plus.
He got the absolute PR. He sat 1-1 on a slow tempo and beat home Simple Livings. Did Simple Living breeze?
Simple Living ran third, yeah.
Yeah, but did she breeze? If she breezed, it's a big run. If she led, it's not. And I can't think of it.
I'm pretty sure Torino breezed, didn't it?
No, Torino sat 1-1.
1-1 and then 1, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to put my eggs in the Torino basket here. I think it finds such an easier race than it was competing in a Placid Arc.
Punches out at all, does she?
I don't know.
It's not her
I don't
style.
know. It's a question mark. I'm not one that's fantastic with maps in general. So, and with Lucy on it, it's a question mark. We've discussed this off there before.
This is not to say that she's riding bad. She's riding
no, she's riding really, really well.
I personally don't like her early tactical style because I'm big on putting your horse as close as possible.
It's like you've said before, where tactically she might not be great, but she just doesn't panic either.
No,
where like even if she's in a sticky situation, she has not panicked.
She makes the best of it.
Like I think I said this to you on text once. Like, how does she win the most races out of anyone after sitting 3 deep no cover?
3 deep no cover is not a bad spot if they're going slow.
Yeah,
and the fence isn't lightning, which it sometimes is. But if on days where the fence isn't the best spot and the tempo is slow, 3 wide no cover is the best spot because you can dictate from out there. It's like you can dictate from the breeze. If you're 3 wide no cover, you're just dictating to the breeze horse.
I wouldn't say it's the best spot, but I understand what you're
saying.
An
exaggeration, but
yeah, it's not as
bad spot. You can lock horses into the 1-1. You just got to play it tactically and keep horses flowing.
Mm.
I always say a horse is the most important horse in the race for me. It dictates the true tempo of the race. You decide whether you're going to put head on, sit half a length off, sit a length off. You
People in
dictate
WA
what the running line does.
The only thing is,
you dictate the whole race.
Jocks in WA, they don't dictate.
It's not the leader.
Themselves get dictated to by. No, but that's not what happens in WA. The breeze jockeys let themselves get dictated to by the leader. If the leader's gone, they don't go for home. They just sit there most of the time, which is not smart. But that's another point for another day.
That's an interesting point when you're doing the map, when you're very definitive in your opinion, maybe not in WA, but you're very confident that there's a horse that will sit OSL. Have a look who the jockey is and think about what might dictate for the 8-4 and sort of how that sets up for the other runners in the race. I sort of zoned out there because I didn't do this race, but Kev, did you have an opinion there? We were tips. What we got?
I'm happy to back Torino dropping back into a 60
Sorry,
plus.
I did hear that. So quad
1, 2,
just 1, 2,
7, So I'd like Nobility in there with the
Okay.
Easterlies about.
Yep.
Yeah,
Anything
same.
Fair.
else? Anything else
Nah,
that needs to go in, Kev?
don't think so.
1, 2, and 7.
Yeah.
On to the Oaks. Star Filly here. Machine Gun Gracie, $1.75 now a tab touch. Was a little bit longer, just half hour earlier. Twilight Tail, 360. Fun Shelf Pike, $5. Much longer the rest. Machine Gun Gracie looks to go to the front and just have this race at its absolute mercy.
I wouldn't be
Uh,
shocked if one of Ryan Hill's runners kicks up to lead and just makes it a little bit harder for her. I still think she'll win, but it just makes it a little bit harder.
just brings the class out, wins by further.
Yeah, and I think the other big thing is the other one of Ryan Hill's will probably be left in the moving line. That's a roadblock to everything else. Like Twilight Tail last start, he didn't pull out early enough. Probably he doesn't win anyway, but he gets closer, just got himself stuck at the wrong time. And there's every chance that happens again because he'll probably be tracking either Linstar or Snipperando, whichever one doesn't press out to the front, as I am half anticipating. From there, all the other classier types like Summers Legacy and Funkle will also be behind, so they'll also be affected by whichever Ryan Hill runners in the moving line going backwards at the 800. Just still doesn't feel like $1.80. She should win, but it doesn't feel like as good a bet as last start, where even like
No,
she
that
drifted to
was.
4, but I took $3 and was really happy with that. And I know plenty of other people that were too. It just felt like
What was
a
that drift
fantastic
about?
betting option. No idea.
That was bizarre.
Um, but either way, regardless of that, is just the fact that even at $3, it just felt like a great bet. And this week, $1.80 doesn't feel like a great bet. I can see why she is $1.80. It just doesn't feel like
Mm.
not stealing, but it doesn't feel like free plus EV.
Does What
It's a
doesn't feel like you're
real
completely
nerdy for
picking
a
it up
minute.
off the ground, but it's pretty close. Well, I mean, $1.75. It's yeah, do the percentages.
I think she'll
Kev,
come out and win again, but I just wouldn't want to
you
launch at
just yeah,
$1.80.
you've got a price that you set and you're happy to take it, and if you don't get it, you'll let it go around probably.
I think even money
Pe
would get me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pending maybe how the
Yeah,
track's playing in yard,
just
you might
spending little things,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, little adjustments on the day. Kev, from memory, I think this is our best bet on the card a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago. I don't see why we change opinion here. He should just win.
I think she does just win. And I think Twilight Tail just runs second. I think you just play those two in the exacta Quinella.
just be wary Grant Alana Williams on grand final day with headgear.
This
Just be careful.
no, I'm not careful. I don't like being careful. I'm an adventurous type, Toby.
Okay.
Give me two
You're-
and three.
Yeah, you're very adventurous. $1.80 favorite wins from $1.25 to place chance runs. Fuck.
Well,
Your
you got to
adventures
plant your
must be
flag
thrilling.
in some favourite somewhere. I mean, it's easy to say you're tipping the favourite, but a lot of the favourites get beat. You got to find the
And
right
look,
ones to be profitable, and
and
I'm
I
not
it's
saying
part of what
that.
we're trying to do.
I
I
think
I know, but for the people out there watching this going, oh, fuck you, we'll tip favourites. Well,
yeah, nah. I think
finding
I
the
think
right
I've
ones is
said
key.
this. I think I've said this enough with Twilight Tail. I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she's going to be really, really good in the Oaks on Saturday. I just don't know how far back she's going to
Well,
be,
yeah.
and if she
So,
gets stuck behind something. Because I mean, you look at the run before last, sort of lost itself around the bend, and then ate up the line. She improved again next start where she sort of got lost a little bit in traffic. And yeah, granted, Machine Gun Gracie was, being eased down and, bolted in. She was taking ground off her really, really well.
well,
I think 2400, if there's a time that Machine Gun Gracie might be suspect, and a lot is going to happen early with the Ryan Hill.
I saw her at the end of that 22. She said, "Do you want me to do 2 more laps?" And Donga said, "No,
Yeah,
thanks.
no,
The job's done."
correct,
She'll go.
correct.
She'll stay for as long as you want.
yeah. So that's
She
sort of my
will,
counter to that
but so
argument,
will
which
Twilight
is,
Tail.
well, will it? So
Yeah,
to the
Oh, Twilight Tower
800,
will as well, but
not to the same quality. Machine Gun Gracie went above standard to the 800, above standard 8 to 4, and 3 lengths home quick from the 4 home for class. Twilight Tail bludged 6 lengths slow to the 800, did virtually the same 8 to 4, and was only 2 lengths quicker coming home last 400 when this thing was eased up.
that's just because of where she was and what the rest of the field were doing. Like nothing was giving Twilight Tail a drag in while
But
Machine Gun was
that's
sneaking
proper
by.
sectionals to suggest that Machine Gun Gracie will
Oh
relish
yeah,
going up
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah.
200.
But I think
Um,
they'll both. I don't think this isn't like sale session and Playfair where I think one of them will be more advantaged by the extra 200. I think they'll be equally advantaged by the extra 200. I think they'll both be really nice stayers.
yeah, that's a fair
In this
point.
case, Machine Gun Gracie, what she gets in her favour is there's a bunch of crap that's going to be in between her and Twilight Tail again.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So one out.
Please throw in three.
Nope,
Okay.
not at the
Kev,
price. Not at the price. I'd rather
Kev,
throw in Summer's Legacy.
ruin half your divvy. Maybe you can have like 75% with a 2-1 out and then 25% with a 3-1 out, maybe. You can't have them both.
This is going to be such a skinny quaddy.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is, but yeah, it'll lob. So, race 9 over the 1800, 60 plus, Stylish Lord, 440, no rider for Ferroa Show or Ferroa Show, $4.40, Premium Gill, $5.50, Blazing Emerald for Pike and Last, $6, Trespassing, $9.50, Western Lady, $15, and obviously much longer the rest. And maps died, Toby, so take us out.
Trespassing will lead early. Just depends on whether they want to hold the front at 18. Don't see why they wouldn't because I can't see heaps of pressure coming. Think that Stylish Lord sits OSL early, like last start, and then sits on something if something comes looking, which could be Blazing Emerald based on the way they've been riding her. Could be Headshard if they want to ride him a bit more aggressive, up to 1800. They've started OSL with him before over 22. Think that Fine Touch, Uni Queen, Expelliarmus, Room Wider, I think they just go back in this. And then the ones from middle gates, just lob where they lob. It could be a 3-wide line here. Just depends on how quick they're going and if someone doesn't make a decision and gets trapped there. Tricky little race to end the day. I think Stylish Lord, again, has a great deal of appeal off his prior, even just his prior form to the win when starting pretty short in some stronger races without a heap of luck. Is really good. Got Luke Campbell on last start and won nicely. Luke stays on. Think he made sense as your most likely. Premium Girl, I would have sworn I saw a comment that said they didn't think she was suited to 1800 last start, but that, if it was there, has since been deleted from the stewards report and she stays at 18. She was just fair from the 1-1. Maybe she was ridden a bit too close in 66 grade. Might go better a bit further back here. Gets reunited with Steve Parnham. And like I said, drops in grade. Blazing Emerald is seemingly going well, but just hasn't run a figure in her last 3. Ferro Show drops out of the JC Roberts where he went better with the shades off last start. Wouldn't be shocked to see him go better. Losing the jock isn't helpful. And just wasn't sure exactly how far back you'd have to get from 6. Henchard, I thought would be a big improver in this. Freshened into the Grandstand Cup, got home as quick as I think he's capable of getting home, and just thought he'd go better at 1800, but maybe 1 or 2 more starts away.
Kev, close us out. What a race this is.
It's very fucking good way to end from a sense of just a race.
Okay.
I I think it's really open. I've always had a bit of an opinion of trespassing. It was a good run.
Really mixes his
Sorry,
form.
I meant more from a betting perspective, Kev. I just struggled with this race. It's just I
Yeah,
couldn't
oh,
get
yeah.
rid of many. Like everything's
No,
got
no,
a chance.
exactly. Everything's got a chance. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the exact same. Like, I'm making a case for trespassing, who's got that sales session form. You got Blazing Emerald that, has been running really well. Granted, not at overly competitive races, been class races, but still, it's been doing its thing. Premium girl, big fan of Tony Triscari's. Shout out, big man. Um, and look, at the end of the day, it ran behind, filthy habits who can break your heart.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
it
tough
didn't
horse.
last start. It only went about 2 lengths slow to the 400, which is
Yeah,
interesting because you'd think, it's going to bowl along, but it actually
yeah,
did in that race. But sort of
yeah.
take your point. Yeah.
And look, Pharaoh show was really good in the JC Roberts. Um, last start again behind that sales session, play fair, all grunt form. And then Toby touched on Stylish Lord. Like, I mean, this will 100% be the widest leg of the quaddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
our widest leg so far is 3, so
yeah,
it's not
true,
it's not a
Well, I mean,
massively high bar to clear.
no.
true.
Toby's piqued my
Um,
interest with Henchard. I mean, I used to have an
yeah,
opinion of this way back, and he's made some casing points to sort of have a second look at it when it's
yeah.
close to 20 to 1. So,
Gets
Uh,
Lucy gets in form loose.
and
yeah,
yeah, I don't know how you can possibly really pen much outside of the tail, but it's a long tail. So I have
FD.
I've
No
temp
FD.
tempted somewhat, but yeah, look, I'm 10 on top of 3, 8, and 1.
They haven't got the FD on because we don't mark our cards like uh, with the tab in person here, but they don't have an FD box.
We do.
Opposite. Yeah, you do. I
We
know.
have FD.
I know it well. To so what are we doing with the quad?
I would like 1 and 2.
Yep.
I would like
Settle, I'm insisting on.
3.
I would like 10 and 8.
You didn't want 3?
Oh,
Have I grade you up with my
I think Tony Triscari has to go in.
it would be sick if he's the leg that knocks us out. That's true.
so we got one, two,
And
three,
based on what we've taken in,
8,
I
10.
think I think we can leave it there at the 5.
1, 2, 3 out of 10. So you'll still find that's a fairly skinny quaddy.
It is a very skinny quaddy. Some would say 15 combos only for a unit.
There you go. All right. Kev, sum us up. What's your best on the day, and maybe your best each way play on the day if you've got one.
Yep.
But,
Best on the day is Wester get in early before Pike goes on. And I'm very, very interested for the yard on Western Power in race number 4.
love that. Well, I'm going to continue with the theme of the Gary Harley, and I'm going to suggest the most ridiculous thing I've ever. I don't do multis because it's percentage multiplied into percentage. This is $6.50. Jazz session, sale session, Machine Gun Gracie, $6.50. Take it out of the bank.
I'm going to give away what I think is the best value on the day based on the way I spoke about it already. It feels like I've half given it away, but I'd like to be able to come back and say that I gave it publicly. Play fair
Like it.
in terms
All
of
right.
value.
Well, if you want all of Toby's information, you'll have to sign up. I think it's only like $50 a week or something. If you take your punting seriously, it's just a drop in the bucket. You'll get access to Toby's sheets, his price assessments, which I think are usually about to 90% Toby. So if you've got an
Yeah, 90.
overlay, they're proper overlays. And obviously the Mountie Guard mail, there's plenty of other information which gets chucked in through the week. So I'd advise you to check it out. It goes well as much as I like to heap shit on him. Good luck,
That's a good
guys.
reason.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, man.